The views and content expressed on the following program are provided solely for informational and entertainment purposes. They do not constitute legal advice. A podcast is not a substitute for retaining a competent, licensed attorney to advise you on your specific legal situation.
Break the business, play is work and work is play. Power into creators, have fun along the way. Break the business, doing what it takes. Celebrate success and learn from the mistakes.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the show. It is time for Break the Business, where we empower indie creators and have some fun along the way. I'm Ryan Kairalla, and it is a pleasure to have you here this week. We're starting things off solemn this week. We're not going to get bombastic. We're not going to fly off the handle because I need to tell you all something. I need to start things serious for a minute because I need to start this program with a warning. For nearly every week for like the 7 years that we've hosted this program has been pleasant, delightful, easygoing, fun to be around. We don't cause no trouble. We don't bother nobody. But every once in a while, a confluence of events happens. An unlikely gust in the winds of fate brings us to a moment where this once reasonable, affable podcast becomes completely, undeniably, and unequivocally insufferable. Because something you need to know about this podcast, something that you need to have burned into your mind, branded into your skull, is the fact that this program, we are 305 till we die. Nothing will bring us out of this town. Sea level rise, still here. My electric bill is triple what it was 5 years ago. Still here. Unreasonable cost of living. Still here. Christo-fascist politicians. Still here. And you know what makes a 305 till we die podcast unacceptably annoying? Why you need to be warned? It happens when not one, but two 8 seeds in South Florida sports make the finals. Miami Heat, NBA Finals. Jimmy Butler, you can have my kidney. I don't even care that you don't need it. Florida Panthers, Stanley Cup Finals. Yes, hockey. When the Panthers are in the finals, Miami will pretend to care about hockey. Do any of us in Miami know how icing works? No. Did any of us know who Sergei Bobrovsky was 8 weeks ago? No. But we are here for the mother bleeping hockey. I know enough hockey. I've been Shoresy on Hulu. I get the gist. So yeah, Miami, our Miami. 305 is the center of the sports universe. And so you have been warned, SiriusXM. It is time to get annoying. Oh my goodness. Here we go, baby. 305 NBA Finals, Stanley Cup Finals. 305, Elisa Rockdock is here. What's going on? Woo! Repping the 305 in Dallas.
Yo, repping the 305. I got the pots and pans.
That's right. Those pots and pans are getting whacked and hit Bird Road in 87th, the center of the sports universe. We're all hitting flatties, baby. Jimmy Butler, we love you. Keith Kachuk, we love you. Alexander Barkov, we love you. Caleb Martin, we love you. Cody Zeller, we like you as a friend.
Do it.
Because we're so annoying right now. Oh my God. Elisa, how are both of these teams in the finals?
Cody Zeller.
Cody Zeller, the Cody Zeller minutes. He's going to get in everybody's way, including our own guys, but we love him too.
Oh. Kevin Love.
Kevin Love, he didn't even play in Game 7.
Good. by dudes named Caleb and Duncan and Cody. Just some dudes. We're just bringing out some dudes.
Just found some dudes at Tamiami Park and suited them up, and they won Game 7.
Just some dudes and Udonis Haslam.
And Udonis Haslam.
Put Udonis in.
Absolutely. Oh, we needed. Oh my God. How is this happening?
Cry, Ryan.
At least these are both 8 seeds. Like, the fact of one of them making the championship is a statistical improbability. Both of them making it.
Sunrise. It doesn't snow in Sunrise.
We don't. I swear to God. At least I don't know the rules of hockey. Like, my wife asks me what offsides is, and I just have to make something up.
The arena is next to Sawgrass Mills Mill. And an IKEA. I saw
the only people in that hockey arena who know how to skate are the people on the ice. But we will pretend to like hockey and know what it means.
I've been to Hot Wheels once.
You know what it's a lot like, and I feel bad for this because I actually I've done some hockey reading. I found out that a Canadian NHL team has not won the Stanley Cup Finals in 20 years or something,
which is wild,
right? And then Miami gets to be in the Stanley Cup Finals. This is a lot like when Lance Armstrong was winning all those Tour de France's, and America was just celebrating because it's we're winning at stuff we don't even like that much. We don't care about cycling.
Have no business being here.
But this means so much to you, France, and all these European countries.
None. No business at all.
Win or lose the Stanley Cup Finals, we will stop caring about hockey 10 minutes after this is over. But right now, oh my God.
I have, between also living in Dallas, that was a fun experience. The 1 second that I thought that we were going to have a Stars-Panthers Stanley Cup final, I would have lost my mind. Evan had a gig playing in front of the stadium, just outside the stadium for one of the Stars games, and it got rained out, so he never got a chance to actually play. And then, of course, the Stars got knocked out, so whatever. But
not a coincidence.
See, honestly, that's why that guy got so mad and cross-checked the other dude and got suspended for 2 games because Evan didn't play. Wanted to hear some tasty shreds.
Oh my God.
But I cannot even, of course they had to take it to 7 because I feel like Miami never feels good about anything unless it's getting booed while it's happening.
Yeah, we have to get hated or it's not fun for us.
Yeah.
It's weird. And that's, but at least for starting tomorrow as we record this,
I will show you what my journal looks like.
Yeah, there's basically a championship game for South Floridians to watch every freaking night. Yeah, I see it there in the journal. You get 1 day every 4 days to nap and to get the alcohol out of your system, and then it's right back to watching a championship game again.
Do you know what it is to have summer games done quick going on right now and playoff sports while Tears of the Kingdom is in my hands? I am having the best few weeks of my life, honestly.
It seems like there's a lot going on right now. And so as a result, we're getting annoying.
Yeah.
Oh yes! 2 8 seeds! Oh my God!
We don't deserve to be here.
We really don't! Oh my God.
We're gonna put it in your face that we are, though. Timothy Butler, everybody. My goodness.
Timothy Buckets, Esquire. And Zach Sloan is, our co-host Zach Sloan, he's a Denver person. And, so we got a little rivalry going there, although he's also the nicest person in the world. So he probably is rooting for us. Like, he'd be like, he'll be like, oh, if the Heat win, I'll just be so happy for you guys. Cause Zach Sloan's just such a wonderful human. Oh,
Y'all guys you just wanted it more. But
that's what he would say. Producer Laura just wrote me and said, did you listen to last week's show? I didn't catch all of it. I need to talk. Let me tell you what happened with respect to last week's show, Elisa Rock Talk, because I did not get to listen to all of last week's show because I wasn't on last week's show. And I wasn't on last week's show because while last week's show was happening, I was 35,000 feet above my studio in an airplane that was circling Miami International Airport. I took a little vacation up to Massachusetts for a few days. I was going right to Boston, like while the Heat was playing the Celtics. That was pretty
wow.
wild. But, and so I was like, all right, we're going to fly back Wednesday night, right before the podcast starts. I'll be able to make the show. Ryan and Zach Sloan and producer Lauren. It's going to be great. We got lots of cool things to talk about. We're going to interview Andy Frasco.
That was your first mistake.
Yeah. I had it all planned out, and I really wanted to interview Andy Frasco. He's an amazing guest last week. If you didn't check out that interview, check it out. So anyway, you might have, no, you wouldn't have known this because you're not in Miami, but Miami had the worst storms that Wednesday night. And so it's just raining. And so the plane can't land in Miami, and we're just circling the airport with my 10-month-old infant doing his first flight. And so naturally, when you're doing your first flight with a baby, you want as many things to go wrong on the plane as possible. And so finally, the plane just circling the airport for about an hour. The pilot just goes, given up. We're taking this thing to Fort Lauderdale. We're going to land in Fort Lauderdale. Fort Lauderdale is a town right next to Miami. It is the Fort Worth of Elisa's Dallas.
In the sense that it is like, why are you putting us two cities together? We are in no way actually that close to each other. Yes, absolutely.
But yeah, it's the next. If you can't land in Miami, that's where you got to land.
Yeah.
And so I'm just thinking, all right, you know what? Fine. This sucks, but at least we're gonna get this screaming child off the plane. We'll get in an Uber. We'll Uber an hour and 10 minutes back to my house just to get this baby in bed. And so we land on the tarmac in Fort Lauderdale, and the pilot says, so if you want to leave the plane, you are welcome to do so. However, your bags are going back to Miami, whether you're on the plane or not. We cannot take your bags off the plane now. And so we couldn't leave because our baby stroller was in the plane. We had 5 bags of luggage because when you have a kid, your days of carry-on luggage are over. You're checking bags because there's all kinds of crap you got to take with you. So we couldn't leave. And so we were stuck on the tarmac for another 2 hours with this baby that we could not leave the plane. And then the weather clears up. We get to Miami around midnight and change.
Oof.
And so we completely missed the podcast. Thankfully, Lauren and Zach Sloan do a terrific job with Andy Frasco. Andy had so many nice things to say about Lauren and Zach's interview. So I'm not sure about what all the questions were, but he must have been pretty happy with you two. Lauren, how did the program go in my absence?
You're saying that Zach, this lovely, nice guy, which I agree, he's a lovely, nice guy who is also super ready to rub your nose in his team kicking yours' bums. Yeah. And he had the AI overlord pitching on his side of this campaign, and he literally spent the entire episode sad that you weren't there because he wanted to rub it in your face that they can sweep and you can't.
That's Zach. What is
I'm
this?
just saying,
Wow.
you're he's gonna be rooting for us. I was like, oh, you missed it.
Oh man.
He wasn't like,
Yep.
oh, how's Ryan's flight going? Oh, I hope it's good. He's like, man, sorry he's not here because I really wanted to rub it in his
Don't
face.
tell me that Denver Nuggets fandom is what brings out the a-hole in Zach Sloan, this otherwise immaculate human being, the best among us.
Yeah, but
You're
that's
saying,
sports in general, right? Your
Denver
evil alter ego comes out when there's a sports team involved. You're like, oh, it's so nice. I hope you die.
Apparently. Jesus.
But we missed
Big up
you.
to
I
Denver.
had to channel my inner Ryan, and then I make your intro, and then you have to like solemn it out. I thought you were going to be like, well, after Lauren did it, I'm done.
So let me just put out a message to all of the people who fill in for me on this program. Because Elisa, you filled in for me on this program. Lawrence filled in. Zach's filled in. You know, a lot of people will step in on the weeks that I cannot be here because life gets in the way. And for some reason, I don't know what it is, but every person who fills in for me has this pathological need to say things exactly the way I do. Like I have to do Ryan's intro, but I have to do it like in a way that like mocks the way that he says things because it's hilarious.
I was surprised that I didn't get the, like hold out note on the how's it going today? I was shocked.
Elisa and I were in tears backstage during the intro today. Like I was watching her. She can't see me, but I'm watching her, and we're both just losing it. We were like, what's happening? Our whole world is being shattered.
We had to warn the people that South Florida was going to get annoying this week. And we're going to be annoying for a good long while. Unless, like, by next week, both teams are down like 3-0, and then, right back to business as usual.
But our fans support us no matter who we're a fan of or where we're located. Because no matter where we are, we're still supporting the indie creators out there that don't really have a home. We're all just kind of roaming.
That was a nice pivot by producer Lauren to say, get back to talking about indie creators.
Seamless.
Hey, we did write by our friends at Slam Radio who love it when we talk sports because that is primarily a sports talk radio station. But we have lots of things to be obnoxiously celebratory about aside from just sports fandom. Elisa, we're going to talk about this a little bit later in the show, but just to give people a little sneak peek, you've had yourself a pretty impressive few weeks since you've been on the show last. You've released a couple really terrific projects. Just give us a quick little taste. What do you have coming out that we're going to talk a little bit more about later?
I read young adult fiction to you, some slow burn romance, right into your ear holes. After this,
well, so yeah. I want to talk about the projects that you have coming out. And then but I also want to have you do, because last time we had you on for the AI Overlord tip of the week, you did read some young adult, or you read some trashy romance novel as an audiobook narrator. Because for people who are new, Elisa is a professional audiobook narrator. She's got a couple audiobooks that have come out recently. We're going to talk all about them. So proud of her. Rocket, there you go. There it is. Yeah. The show's highest honor, the cartoon party horn. And when we do the AI Overlord tip of the week with her, she often uses it as we have the AI Overlord write some novels out of, with that feature tips for indie creators. And then Elisa reads them with her amazing audiobook narration skill. Last time we did this, Elisa, we did it as a trashy romance novel, and you did an impeccable job. But I think where your real forte is in young adult fiction. You're putting out some great work there lately. And so I think we got to play to that strength.
Yeah.
And so let's get right into that. Can we just let's go ahead and get our AI Overlord tip of the week.
AI Overlord tip of the week. AI Overlord tip of the week. AI Overlord tip of the week. AI Overlord tip of the week.
All right. For this, get yourself warmed up. For this tip of the week, we asked ChatGPT, the AI Overlord, to write a young adult or a young adult novel, a coming of age kind of story that, the 13 to 19 year olds are going to devour. But throughout that novel, we are going to intersperse advice for indie creators about how to be more visually prominent on live streaming platforms. And so as both a young adult audiobook narrator, Elisa, and a terrific live streamer, I feel like all of this just plays to your strengths. And so I would, without further ado, do you have the piece that ChatGPT wrote for you there?
Yes, I do believe I have it pulled up. Thank you.
All right. So we're going to have you, much as you already interpret the work of so many great authors, we're going to have you interpret ChatGPT's masterpiece here. We're going to put a little bit of music behind you this time to really kind of set the mood. So go ahead and take it away for us.
All right. If you want to know what 15 looks like, it's a mouthful of braces, frizzy hair that won't be tamed, and an unwavering belief that you can rule the world from your bedroom with just a laptop, a dream, and an obsession with anime. That was me, Lucy Carter, in the summer before sophomore year. That was the summer I started live streaming. In my mint green room filled with band posters and fairy lights, I'd perch on my swivel chair, clicking my mouse in a rhythmic pattern. My first streams were gaming. Me huddled over my computer, doing my best to kick butt at shadow walkers. It was simple, ordinary, and it felt just right. But as the summer wore on, I began noticing other streamers. Their streams were bright, vibrant, and, well, pretty. Their screens were like visions from a digital wonderland. My gaming conquest, on the other hand, seemed dull in comparison. One evening, in the orange glow of the setting sun, my best friend, Mia, tuned into my stream. Afterwards, she looked at me and said, "Luce, your streams are fun, but it's time to jazz things up. It's not just about what you do, but how it looks. Aesthetics matter." Aesthetics? I thought. We were gaming, not modeling. But Mia, with her pink hair and a piercing in her eyebrow, knew a thing or two about style. And so I decided to take her advice. Over the next week, I became an indie creator on a mission. I learned about overlays, customizing my webcam border, adding a chat box on the screen, using fun alerts for new subscribers and donations. I learned to balance my screen so that the gameplay had enough space, but viewers could also see my reactions. I played with colors, designs, moving elements, and soon, my once plain stream transformed into a dynamic, visually pleasing spectacle. When I saw the outcome, I couldn't help but beam. My live stream was now more than just me playing a game. It was an experience, a visual journey that I was inviting my viewers to embark upon with me. So here's my advice to you, my fellow live streamers. Don't underestimate the power of visuals. Making your stream visually appealing not only catches the eye, but it also creates an engaging atmosphere for your viewers. It's like inviting someone into your home. You want to make it comfortable, inviting, a place they'd love to come back to. It was a simple tip, but it was the one that changed my live streaming journey. Because in the end, it's not just about the game you play, it's also about how you invite others to play along with you.
Yeah, woo!
Almost made it all the way through, but dang it.
Man. You really shouldn't be that good at interpreting a AI prompt, writing a completely silly young adult novel. like you don't have to go so hard on it. Like, you understand this is supposed to be just like a silly, hilarious premise, but you're going for awards here. I mean,
look, ever since I learned that an Audi was a thing, I've been gunning for it.
Is it really? Because
I think it is, yeah.
We got to get you some hardware. You are so very good at this. My goodness. That was, I mean, and as much as I was just captivated in the prose, there was a lot of actually genuinely good advice there.
Good.
I think ChatGPT actually did a pretty good job of capturing a lot of important things about making your live streams more engaging. I was taking notes.
Yeah, I was like, yes, absolutely. Yep. Those are actually some really good best practices on legitimate aesthetics. I was like, okay, chill.
Overlays, chat boxes, playing with colors. Very, very cool. Yeah. Oh, well, another banger from the AI Overlord, assisted by one of the cool, great young adult narrators in the business right now, Elisa Rockdock. Thank you for bringing just so much professionalism to our silly proceedings here.
I gotta bring the heat.
You do bring the heat, like a Caleb Martin shooting performance, just bringing the heat. And in the second segment, I want to talk more about the books you have coming out, because that's amazing. I'm so proud of you, and I want to tell people more about it. And I just want to hear more about the process of how something like this comes together, and it's so many questions. Anyway, before we get to that though, I got a little bit of legal news here. Earlier this month, let me see. Let me check my sound effects board. Do we have Armand Asante? No, that's not it.
I need to
There it is.
You killed innocent people.
The means to an end.
You started a massacre.
I caused the revolution.
You betrayed the law.
Sorry, I got a new sound effects board. Everything got moved around, but we found it. We found it. Earlier this month, Elisa, an Australian federal court found that pop singer Katy Perry's merchandise line infringed on the trademark of a fashion designer who uses the name Katy Perry, but spelled Katie, to sell her clothing line. Oh, so close. In a 15-year trademark battle that the presiding judge Brigitte Markovic called A Tale of Two Women, Two Teenage Dreams, and One Name. That was a quote from the ruling. The court found that the pop star's clothing lines, Katy Perry and Kitty Purry, infringed on I.E. Katie's trademark.
What?
Yeah. It is it's an important sort of cautionary tale that I think, even though we don't have merchandise lines in the same way that Katy Perry does, I think it is a nice opportunity to kind of, I'm hearing some echo from Elisa's thing. Can we put the echo cancellation back on for her, just because that's going to throw me off all day long. So it's Elisa, you and I, we spoke on the show about kind of the importance of getting a trademark in your name as a creative professional, right? And, making sure your band name is available. If you're performing under a band name, to make sure you get that registration in certain trademark classes related to music, such as Class 41, Entertainment Services, and Class 9, which is about putting out physical CDs and digital downloads and things like that. Those tend to be the first sort of trademark classes that we think of as a creator in that, I'm going to be a creator. These are the trademarks I have to get registered in my name. But if you have ambitions to do other things with that name that are music adjacent, such as putting out a merchandise line, maybe t-shirts or hats, caps, sweaters, what have you, then you want to start giving some thought as early as possible to getting the trademark registration in those goods and services classes as early as possible, and preferably before somebody else nabs that name from you.
Yep.
So you don't end up like our dear friend Katy Perry. And so the path that I often recommend to artists in this space is, if you're out there, you're making music, or you're any kind of creator, right? And you're performing under that name and you have a trademark for that name in entertainment services, the moment that you give some thought to, maybe I could consider someday in the future doing something in merchandise, that is the time to start being actionable about seeing if the name at which you perform is available in those categories. You talk to a lawyer, they can do a trademark search, both domestically and internationally, to see if your name is available in trademark classes related to, say, apparel, shirts, hats, things like that. And so even if you're not going to start creating that apparel tomorrow, or maybe you're not selling it already, you can at least start the process. So the trademark office has something called an intent to use trademark application, where you can basically reserve a name, where you file the name and then you say to the trademark office, I'm going to use this name within the next 6 months. And as long as you do, you can get the trademark. And you can file for extensions for that up to 3 years. So in theory, if you know you're going to put out merchandise within the next 3 years under that name, you can file an intent to use application now and then create that product at some time in the next 3 years. And here's the other thing that a trademark search can do for you. It's possible that somebody else is already using your name in apparel, as happened to Katy Perry. That's a good thing for you to learn now before you go out and start selling merchandise under that name and getting yourself sued. And by the way, it's not the worst thing in the world if somebody is using your name in apparel. There are plenty of examples of artists out there who are creating very successful merchandise lines under different names than their performer name. I mean, Rihanna comes to mind, and there's about a million others. And there's nothing wrong with that. But that's a good thing for you to know now before you start investing a lot of money in creating merchandise under a name that might not belong to you because somebody else owns it.
This is a cautionary tale brought to you by a video game that I absolutely love that can have all sorts of merch except clothing because of the exact same issue.
Is that right?
Yep. There is a music game that I love and may have featured in my dissertation that if you notice their merch that may or may not be available for purchase is picks and strings and guitar straps, and there is nary a t-shirt or tank to be found because they can't do apparel because someone else has the apparel trademark for the name of that video game. So I can't get my favorite video games t-shirts.
That's pretty wild.
Unless they're given away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty wild. And does not surprise me that something like that can happen. What a lot of going back to intent to use trademarks, what a lot of these superstar artists tend to do, if they have, if they're superstars and they catch lightning in a bottle or whatever, you'll see this if you go onto like the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office website. Like go look up, one of these like just brand new artists that's caught lightning in a bottle, super famous, somebody like Olivia Rodrigo. I'm guessing if you type Olivia Rodrigo into the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office website, you're obviously going to see a trademark registration for entertainment services that's active. But you're probably going to see about a bajillion filings that are intent to use in almost any category that you could think of that an artist might want to get into in terms of merchandise. Hats, shirts, stickers, posters, aluminum siding, whatever it is, right? You're going to find a inordinate number of intent to use trademark applications where Olivia Rodrigo's or any of these artist teams goes, we're not making stuff in this yet, but we're gonna soon. Let's make sure that the name is available and let's, file the intent to use application to kind of set our place in line for it now so that when the Olivia Rodrigo brand mufflers come out, we already got the rights to it.
I mean, when it comes to brand partnerships, if she came out with a whole brand of driver's license holders, steering wheel covers, I mean, it would work.
It's obvious. I mean, if we just thought of this, like naturally, Olivia's team is all over it.
When you're driving alone past his street, you can have the Olivia Rodrigo brand steering wheel fuzzy cover.
So when you were driving through your boyfriend's house in the suburbs, sobbing, you need to be sobbing into your Olivia Rodrigo branded steering wheel cover.
Yes, because and make sure that you have your Olivia Rodrigo brand safety bags, your airbags installed, because why? It's brutal out here. That's But yeah, it happens all the time, and honestly, with like smaller creators, this has happened in the beauty space where there are beauty creators that have kind of dipped their toes into things like loungewear and stuff, and they've created gear. And there are other smaller creators that have done the thing in loungewear before, established a name, but because someone with a bigger name got the trademark, tough cookie.
Yeah. That kind of stuff can absolutely happen. And so you see a lot of these superstar artists who are very proactive about getting a bunch of these intent to use applications, under the sun to avoid the exact same thing that you're talking about there, Lisa. That being said, for indie creators, it really is a question of kind of balancing and finding the best use of your resources, because these applications aren't cheap. An intent to use trademark application is going to run you about $250 to $350 per mark per class.
Oh.
And for every 6-month extension you want to file, because you don't get that product out there in 6 months, I think that's going to set you back like another $100 or $150. So, this is an investment. And so I've had clients, by the way, who will say, oh, we want to, we need a registration in deodorant and mufflers. And I tell them, like, are you actually going to create mufflers in the next 6 months, in the next 3 years? And so we try to bring them back down to earth, figure out what the more likely registrations are, and start with those first. And then if they have more resources later, move into car parts and whatever else they want. So
you're saying I shouldn't do Crimson Echo's aluminum siding?
You absolutely should. It is a natural progression for your band's product line. I would not put any other siding on my house.
Actually, a Crimson Echoes would be good with a battery company, since our hit is called Don't Stop. So
there you go. I
Right,
love
so
it. I'm gonna,
batteries, aluminum
just-
siding.
just log on to the trademark office, see if we can swat on that. All right, let's take a quick break, and then we're going to talk even more about Elisa's amazing audiobook projects that are coming out. We also have some other funny hijinks. We're going to talk about summer games done quick, and we're going to continue to be insufferable about the Heat and the Panthers. Don't go anywhere. Break the Business. We'll be right back.
Heat and 3.
Ryan Kairalla here. I hope you're enjoying the show, and I hope that you're getting a lot out of it. I do what I do because I care about creators like you. A lot. I've dedicated my career to helping creative professionals, entrepreneurs, and organizations move forward. I do it by hosting this program, and I'm also proud to do it in my legal practice. If you're a creative professional looking for solutions-oriented legal services to help you further your goals, I'd love to help. My firm RKPA does contracts, commercial law, copyright, trademark, and more. Visit rkpalaw.com to learn more. That's rkpalaw.com. Ryan A. Kairalla, PA, Miami, Florida.
Streaming services for Break the Business provided by LEK Entertainment. LEK Entertainment is a full-service entertainment company offering everything from consultations to full-scale events and productions, including audio and video productions, voiceovers, staged theatrical productions, script and music development, and streaming services. For more information, visit lekentertainment.com. LEK Entertainment wants to help you bring your story to life.
Thanks for supporting Break the Business. If you have a question or topic that you want us to discuss, email us at breakthebusiness@gmail.com. You can follow the host, that's me, on Twitter at Ryan Kair, and you can follow the show at the BTB Podcast. Be sure to subscribe to the show on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook, and on all major podcast platforms. And now, let's get back to the show.
Welcome back to Break the Business, everybody. Thank you for checking us out wherever you're checking us out, on all the major podcast platforms, live streaming platforms, and Sirius XM 145. Wherever you're checking us out, we are so glad that you are. Ryan Kairalla here with Elisa Rockdock, and just having the time of our lives. Elisa, in the 2-minute break of the commercial break, all right, just for bleeps and giggles, I went onto the Patent and Trademark Office website and searched Olivia Rodrigo. Because I wanted to see, because again, I just pulled that name out of thin air, hand to God, all right? I just wanted to see, does Olivia Rodrigo have any just random ass intent to use trademark applications that she does not have the registration for yet, but she's just looking for like random product lines. And I hit a treasure trove.
Ooh.
All right. I'm going to read for you some of the product areas where she currently has intent to use trademark applications, all right?
Love this.
Olivia Rodrigo branded eye creams, facial cleansers, skin toners, facial moisturizers, body exfoliant creams, makeup removers, fragrance emitting wicks for room fragrances, scented linen sprays.
Yep.
How about some beverageware, cups and mugs, disposable dinnerware, china ornaments, makeup brushes, kitchen linens, curtain holders of textile banners, non-woven fabrics, and like that's still the first page.
Now, a pop artist coming out with a skincare and makeup line, dime a dozen.
Makes sense.
Everybody's into skin these days. Where you lost me was the curtain rod.
I mean, yeah. Yep. What are you? Who else would you trust more to make your curtain rods?
You know, next time I'm at Lowe's, I'll I can't get my.
Yes, please record yourself going to Home Depot and asking like the burliest, toughest, orange aproned employee there. Have the new Olivia Rodrigos come in?
Yeah.
I'm looking for the 2023 Rodrigos in curtain rods.
Just going for that, postmodern High School Musical chic. Yes.
So obviously a big theme for this week has been how this program is 305 till we die, whether we are currently residing in the 305 or at least a suburb thereof, or you are repping the 305 out in Dallas. it's still in our blood, baby.
Oh yeah.
And as 305 people, we are always on high alert for this time of year of hurricane season. So I don't know if you do this, Elisa. You know, like obviously, like, you know, hurricanes aren't something that, I know they still get some hurricanes out in Texas, but it doesn't freak you out the way it used to when you were down in this peninsula.
I miss
But
it.
I don't know if you did this when you were in like hurricane high alert mode, but I have an annual tradition that when the National Weather Service releases the list of names that they're going to name the hurricanes after for this year, the first thing I do is I will look at the names, and just by the names alone, I will immediately decide which hurricanes I am more afraid of and less afraid of. Because there are certain hurricane names, and maybe I'm the only one who does this, but there are certain hurricane names that if I see like a Hurricane Greg come out, I'm like,
God.
Greg's pretty chill. Greg's not going to do anything to us. You know, like he'll blow through, he'll say what's up, and like not a roof shingle will be askew.
Downgraded to a tropical storm.
That's right.
Immediately.
Yeah, Greg's not even getting to a Cat 1.
Yeah.
But there are certain names that when I see that name, if that hurricane name gets announced, I'm like, we're all going to die. And so I wondered, so we have the 2023 storm names. They've just been announced by the National Weather Service. And I'm wondering if you look at any of those names, Lauren, if you could put those up for us.
Ooh.
Do any of those names, and I'll just read them out very quickly for anybody. Do any of those names scare you? So we have Arlene, Brett, Cindy, Dawn, Emily, Franklin, Gert, Harold, Adalia, Jose, Katya, Lee, Margot, Nigel, Ophelia, Philippe, Rena, Sean, Tammy, Vince, and Whitney. Hurricane Nigel, not even getting out of bed for it.
Are you serious? Because like when I saw Nigel, I can think of a lot of artists and singers that would be scared
Why?
because of judges that judge us.
Oh,
And they're
because like
judgy, and it feels like Nigel.
I
Oh, so
thought Nigel would just be more of like a Hugh Grant sort of
I
like
was-
poppishly apologizing as
Proper.
it trips over the keys, like, oh sorry, oh I'm sorry, oh I'm sorry.
that is exactly my thought when I saw Nigel. It was Hugh Grant and Notting Hill. Just dear me, I did knock over that beta glass. So sorry. Oh, goodness.
Oh, it's a little wind, isn't it?
Now, Hurricane Katya shows up. We're hiding.
No. Now, in Puerto Rico, Idalia, if Idalia shows up, oh no.
That's a scary one.
It is drought conditions, and I am definitely bathing in a large garbage can for about a week. Not speaking from personal experience or anything.
Now, of all the names on this list, if there is one name and that I read out that I swear if this name becomes a hurricane, I'm evacuating. And like, I don't even mean evacuating Miami, like I'm leaving the continent.
Yeah.
If Hurricane Gert's gonna wreck us all.
And if Gert doesn't do it, Philippe's finishing the job. Like legit.
Yeah, Hurricane Philippe, you're gonna think like when Hurricane Philippe shows up, you're gonna get lulled into a false sense of security. Like you don't think Philippe's gonna hurt you, but Philippe's gonna hurt you.
Yeah, and
we've all been
Tammy-
hurt by a Philippe.
Tammy is gonna
Tammy.
park itself there and be real slow. Develop that eye.
I ain't moving.
Strong eye wall on Tammy.
Oh my god! If Gert and Tammy are back to back,
Bring back Max Mayfield for Tammy.
they were. That is the notion of when Max Mayfield gets brought out of retirement because a storm is so bad is such a ridiculously local reference.
Yep.
That like the three people listening to this from South Florida know exactly what we're talking about, and everybody else is like, "Who is Max Mayfield?"
I was under the understanding that this show is a 305 episode today.
That's true. We get to be annoying about it. Yes.
There you go. Local references.
Yes. But yes, when the 300-year-old meteorologist Max Mayfield gets like let out of his cryogenic freezing state because a hurricane is so bad that we need his advice and we need him on television, that's when you know it's time to evacuate.
Yeah, and as to Daniel Neruda's point, Hurricane Ophelia would get me to a nunnery. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh my goodness. All right. So that's enough of that. Just looking at those names scares me. I hate.
You know what's great? I'm looking
hurricane
forward
season.
to this segment, aging like milk.
Oh my God. Yep, it's all marked down. When Hurricane Nigel is a category 7
Oh,
and just lays waste to all of us. You know, the last memories we're all going to have before we are just ripped away is me doing a horrific Hugh Grant impression and you doing a horrific Hugh Grant impression. You're in this too. All right, we both besmirch Nigel. All right. A lot of stuff to get excited about with Break the Business, Elisa. I was asking you in the break, and I'm glad you know who this person is. I wrote to you in the private chat and I said, do you know who the TikToker Reb Maisel is? And you did. And it's true. You have sent me, you know, she's an amazing lawyer on TikTok who, she just thinks she like reads deposition transcripts that are hilarious. She's also partnering with Taco Bell to try to get the Taco Tuesday trademark that somebody else owns invalidated. It's all delightful. Once I heard about the Taco Tuesday thing, Elisa, I immediately put out a DM to Reb Maisel's people and said, please come and talk to us about Taco Tuesday and just everything about you because you're amazing. And so Reb Maisel, I believe, is going to be joining us in July. So
no
got
way!
that to look forward to.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love her.
I believe we're also close to landing the plane on an American Idol winner coming up soon this summer.
Okay, I was about to say, don't jinx it.
I don't want to reveal which one it is, but I will say it's one of the ones that a millennial would have heard of. So it's not one of the ones you're like, who's that? Like our demographic, you're going to know who this person is.
I'm excited.
Yeah, we've got a lot to be excited about this summer, but we got a lot to be excited about right this freaking second because boy, do you have some career updates for us, Elisa.
Ew.
I will give you an opportunity to tell everybody about the 2 books that you have narrated that have come out. Tell us about it.
Yes. So I have narrated 2 books. I believe both are by HarperCollins, the Balzer and Bray imprint of HarperCollins. They are both young adult fiction novels. And the first one is Julieta and the Romeos by Maria E. Andreu. I read the audiobook for that, and it is the story of a young Latina writer protagonist that goes to a summer writing retreat and is doing cooperative fiction writing with an anonymous author that starts contributing to her story and starts intriguing her very much. So she spends the rest of the summer trying to figure out who mystery collaborator and admirer is. But you're going to have to read or listen to the book to find out. So that's that one.
That's a good sales job.
Very, very excited. That could be like childhood best friend to lovers or enemies to lovers or like boy next door to lovers. Maybe I'll take, who knows? So you're going to have to read the book to find out on that one. The other one is the Luis Ortega Survival Club by Sonora Reyes. That one actually came out yesterday. Actually last week. Yeah, that one came out last week, so super excited for that one. That one tells the tale of a young autistic protagonist who had a bad situation happen to her at a party, and she teams up with the rest of her found family. This is a great tale of found family to get revenge because this dude has been a menace to the school for far too long, and so they join the Luis Ortega Survival Club. So it's a wonderful tale of revenge and found family. And as a queer, neurodivergent Latina, it gives me great joy to be reading these stories and reading these protagonists and bringing them to life. And I wish I had these books when I was a teenager because they would have helped me contextualize a lot of stuff. So I'm proud to have these books out in the world so that hopefully more young adult Latinas can see themselves and their families represented. Oh, and it features families apologizing. Huge. If you are into like romance, beautiful beach reads, and parents apologizing. Both these books are for you.
It's becoming my favorite genre of media is parents apologizing core. Let me talk to you a little bit more about the Luis Ortega Survival Club, if for no other reason that it's the one of the two I've read so far. Now that the other book I'm sure isn't great, I just haven't gotten to it yet. And I'm about 23 chapters deep into the Luis Ortega Survival Club, and I am thoroughly enjoying it. And I'm thoroughly enjoying your narration, and I've been
you're listening to it.
That's what I mean. Well, yeah, I'm listening to it.
I wasn't expecting you to, oh God, I'm sorry.
Well, no. We're not doing that this week. We're not doing the Elisa dumping on herself, imposter syndrome stuff. You did an incredible
You had enough of my voice
job.
in middle school. Okay,
well, so I've been it's interesting you bring that up. I've been racking my brain trying to figure out what is the compliment I could give that best encapsulates what I really enjoyed about your narration performance in that book. And I think what it is that even though you are not the author of this book, it is the very talented Sonora Reyes who wrote this book. As I'm listening to you narrate it, I find myself forgetting that you are reading somebody else's book. And I just feel like you are basically, you know what it is it sounds like you're just reading one of your live journals from junior high. Especially because the book is in first person.
Oh yeah.
And,
oh man, wait till you friggin' read Julieta then. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So among the many things I want to ask you about this performance, you are correct in that there's a lot of similarities between you and the character that you're narrating in first person in this book. And obviously you were able to channel a lot of your own life experience and your own heritage and everything else into what I think is an amazing narration performance. But I think there's also a lot of things about the character that are not, are not similar to you, right? Without revealing too much about the book, the character Ariana is selectively mute. Mm-hmm. And though that is not an adjective that I would ascribe to you in any circumstance. And so there are certainly parts about her that are not of your experience that you had to channel and, take stuff that, that you do have similarities to and come up with this performance. Can you walk us through what was the process to finding this character's voice and bringing it out onto the recording?
Gosh, it's weird because so far the 3 audiobooks I've done character work on one audiobook that felt more sort of like an audio play, but in terms of the 3 major narrations that I've done, it's been for a lot of characters that have just felt really, really easy for me to step into. And I basically just try to pretend that I'm reading to Evan, essentially. And it's weird because it feels very instinctual. I'm not thinking too much necessarily, so much as when a new character is introduced and then I have the panic of, oh crap, I have to come up with a different voice for this one. That sounds distinct. And then by chapter 30, I have 5 different people talking in a room and I'm like, well, this is going to be fun. And it's weird because I haven't taken any classes. I am very green. My agent contacted me and was like, hey, you want to do this? These are audiobooks. I mean, we don't usually field audiobook requests, but you've done it before. You want to do it? And I looked at the synopses and I was like, yeah, absolutely. I had such a great experience doing The Lost Dreamer a couple of years back that I was like, yeah, I'll sit in front of a microphone and read if the story's cool. And it turns out the stories were very, very cool.
The stories are very cool. Yes.
To the point that I actually had to figure out a workflow to work with my brain so that I didn't get caught up too much reading and tire my voice out or literally forget to eat while I'm reading all these chapters. I feel very, very green, but I just think about what kind of storytelling I would like to do. And I think because I have so many connections, like still literally from like my high school and middle school years, it's really easy for me to get back into that headspace and how I felt. And just if there are things that maybe you thought that weren't relatable, then I was masking really, really well. Because there's a lot in there that, you know, even as I'm reading it, I'm realizing, oh, maybe that's what happened to me or something, you know, or like, oh, maybe that's why I feel, you know, certain ways, you know, like Ari, the protagonist for the Luis Ortega Survival Club, she's autistic with selective mutism. But I, you know, am going through sort of like my own journey, trying to like investigate my own neurodivergence and seeing, I'm like, oh boy, I didn't think that I was going to relate to Ari, but here I am, really, really, really feeling her. So I think I got lucky in that sense to be paired with like such amazing protagonists and amazing authors. And it gave me great joy to see the pronunciation lists for these books and see words like, okay, well, we have to make sure that Elisa knows how to pronounce empanada and and morcillas and tostones and, you know, arroz con pollo and like all of these and the last names and everything. And I'm like, oh no, this is just going to feel like coming home.
You're Ron Swanson walking into the hardware store. I know more than you.
Yeah, I'm like, oh no, it's okay, baby. I've got you, because I can only imagine like how much work it might be. Literally did not know the authors until I pinged them a couple of weeks ago to congratulate them on the book once it was out. And they're like, oh my God, I didn't know it was you. Thank you so much. It was an amazing thing. And I was like, oh, like you didn't even really know. But I'm glad that I was hopefully able to do their work justice.
I hope that, and it sounds like this is the case, I hope that the author was as satisfied as I was in the belief that, like, I don't, like, honest to God, I don't think there is a human being walking this planet that I think was more ready to adequately interpret Sonora Reyes's words than you were, between the talent that you have, but just the experience that you brought to it. And again, I forgot, like, there were times I forgot that you were narrating a book. Like, I feel like Elisa was just telling me her life story or whatever. Like, I've known you long enough to like hear, like, to know what it sounds like when you're just reading from your live journal. Like, that's, it took me back to that because of just how natural the words and how natural you made it all sound, and just how like absorbed in the story I got. And so, I mean, do you find that it's easier for you to narrate a first person story where you can really just kind of get into that person's voice a lot more clearly because of how it's written?
Yeah, so far, yes. Because it feels like, you know, it feels more seamlessly integrated to things that I do, like character voice acting, or even like some more character focused commercial acting that I do. So in that case, it's like, okay, I'm speaking in first person. I'm a character. Boop, let's go. But I've also done, you know, like some nonfiction reading and narration, which, you know, hey, are there any, you know, educational opportunities for making any educators' work more accessible? I'm happy to do so. But yeah, I would love to have more experience trying out all sorts of different things. I would love to be the voice of the For Dummies series. I don't know, bring it on. I'm kind of going with what they send me so far. That first person feels really, really good. And I love doing like the character voice bit, and, you know, hopefully it so far you're enjoying it. So hopefully other people have a good time with it too.
I am so unbelievably proud of you for just I'm really, really enjoying it. So it's Luis Ortega. You know what? I'm not going to read the book titles because I'm
Let me do
like, because I am Cody Zeller.
You are Cody Zeller.
Please tell people, you know, like, rather than have me like just disrespect an entire culture by trying to read these titles. Could you tell people these books and where they can find them again?
Absolutely. So you would be looking for Julieta and the Romeos by Maria E. Andreu, as well as the Luis Ortega Survival Club by Sonora Reyes. Wherever fine books and audio books are available, ask your local library and use the Libby app. You can even use the Libby app to download stuff from your local library, up to and including audiobooks. So make sure to ask your library for those too.
Maybe not your library in Florida, because it's going to get banned in like 3, 2,
On,
but
yeah. Actually, yeah.
And look, I will say this, like, if you are the sort of person that just likes to read and doesn't like enjoy audiobooks, that's fine.
Really
but
cool.
like, if you're on the fence about like how you should consume this, I think Sonora Reyes's words coupled with Elisa's narration and interpretation of those words make for a really enjoyable experience. All right.
Thank you so much. And I don't know, hopefully this is only the start of me getting to read for y'all professionally.
Between this and the ChatGPT written stuff, I think you got a bright future. Our thanks to you, Elisa Rockdock. Our thanks to producer Lauren. And thanks to all of you, viewers and listeners, for putting up with our insufferability about our Heat and Panthers fandom and for checking out Break the Business. We love you. Mwah. We'll see you next week.